Hello, this is Megan Neaton coming at you live for your 7 o'clock news on the Farm Network. Today, corn is sweeping the nation, and we have Lauren McGlinch in Kansas reporting live from a cornfield with a local farmer, Kelsey Rochlow. To you, Lauren.
Thank you, Megan, for that introduction. I'm here in Kansas with farmer Kelsey Rochlow. And how are you today?
I'm very good. How are you?
That's good. I'm good too. So, where else other than Kansas is corn produced?
Corn is produced in the Corn Belt, which includes the states of Michigan, Minnesota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Ohio, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, and Nebraska.
Oh, so a lot of places produce corn.
Yes.
And so how is corn grown? What was like the development of it?
Well, corn, it starts off as a seed, of course, and it's like a kernel corn seed like you would get for your popcorn or anything, same kind of seed. And in the spring, the farmers use planters, giant machines, and they'll plant like 24 rows at one time. And they plant those in the spring, and after about 2 or 3 days, the roots will start to break out of the seed and they'll start to grow. And it grows at a kind of a fast pace. And then 2 or 3 days after, you plant the seed, you can start seeing it come out of the ground, actually. Wow. And then it starts to grow pretty fast, and it'll sprout the leaves and stuff.
So, Kelsey, when can you start to see the corn start growing?
Well, the plant starts off, of course, green, but it'll start to turn a brownish color, like those ones in the background over there. And the corn will start to then grow on the plants when it turns the brown color.
Oh, okay. So does all of this growing happen in the springtime?
No, most of it happens over the summer, and then by fall it's time to harvest, and we'll send it off to get produced into whatever it's being made into.
Okay, well, thank you for your time, Kelsey, and back to Megan. We have an informational video, so back to you.
Thank you, Lauren and Kelsey from Kansas, for your help on teaching our viewers about corn growth. Now here's the informational video on how corn grows. There you have it, viewers. That's how corn grows. Oh wait, just in, breaking news from Nick Pizek on corn production. To you, Nick. Thank you, Nick, for that very special report. Now we have Lauren and a local farmer out in Idaho. Lauren's been learning about corn consumption from this local farmer, and she's here to share the information with you. To you, Lauren.
Hi, thank you for that introduction again, Megan. So I'm here with another farmer in Idaho, and her name is Rose Porter, and she produces corn at her farm, which is behind us. So, Rose,
yes,
would you like to tell us about corn and its production?
I'm proud to say that we are the largest corn consumers in the world here in the United States. Proud to be an American. And over in a year, we consume 183,119 TMT, which is a whole lot of corn.
So when you're working with corn here,
yeah, over here in my barn,
what does this corn go into?
The majority of our corn here in Idaho, produced in that barn, goes into food for both animal feed and to feed my hungry stomach.
What does corn go into?
Well, if you look at anything in your kitchen, go into that beautiful little place and just pick out anything. It could be cereal or your dog's food or anything that you pull out, ketchup, and it all goes back to corn. Everything will have some type of corn in it. Well, not everything, but you can say 90% of everything comes from corn. One of the biggest things that corn goes into is food. 58% of all corn consumed in the U.S. goes into food. It can be animal feed or it can be human food. The next biggest consumer of U.S. corn is ethanol, which goes into fueling cars and gas. Even though ethanol is the next biggest U.S. corn consumer, it is only half of it. It's 28% of corn goes into that, so it's not as big as food. Corn also goes into high fructose corn syrup and glucose, starches, cereals, and even beverages like alcohol.
From this interview, I'm just getting a feeling that everything comes from corn now.
Yes, the U.S. consumes about 2,000 pounds of corn per year.
Wow, how amazing is it that we consume on average about 2,000 pounds of corn a year, and almost none of that looks like anything that comes on the cob.
I know, it's an amazing thing.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Back to the studio with Megan.
Thank you, Lauren and Rose from Idaho, for that very informational corn consumption video. It was not a video. Documentary. Over in Idaho, they were talking about how corn is in everything. And here at the studio, we gathered some objects to show that to you viewers on the Farm Network. In your everyday frosted flakes that your kids love to eat, we have some high fructose corn syrup and milled corn. And in this ranch, we have some high fructose corn syrup. In syrup, we have high fructose corn syrup. Progresso soup, Coffee Mate, creamer, and cookies all have high fructose corn syrup. Like Rose said, you can find corn in almost anything. Now we're going to live with Diane, who is with a local farmer, Paige, at the farmer's market.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, so here we are in Michigan with local farmer Paige at a farmer's market that she goes to every weekend. So Paige, is the only place you can get homegrown foods at a farmer's market?
No, it's not. Like, corn is one of the most widely produced grains in the world. In the United States, it represents more than 40% of all grains produced. So there are two basic types of corn. There are sweet corn, which is used for direct food consumption, and then there's field corn, which is used for ingredients and animal feed. Sweet fresh corn is usually taken, a small portion is taken to a farmer's market like this, or just like sold on the roadside, and then also like more is taken to like a restaurant or a local grocery store. But mostly all of it is taken to a commercial food processor, which it is canned or frozen, like this. Okay, and corn designed to be used as like a seed or animal feed is usually taken to a local grain outlet where it's manufactured.
Well, what is that popcorn used for that you have down there?
This popcorn is a seed. It started out as a seed, and it can be either popped or it can be planted into the ground to make regular corn, like corn on the cob, or stuff that goes into the frozen.
So is this freshly made popcorn right here that you have?
Yes, it is.
So what happens after it leaves the manufacturing plant?
There's 3 channels that goes through. It usually goes to a grocery store, and there's a wholesaler's warehouse where it's stored until like a grocery store orders it or needs it. And a traditional way of doing business is through a manufacturer. It discounts large quantities of the fresh corn, and then to entice the wholesale buyer at grocery store to buy it, and then it's shipped there.
Well, that sounds very interesting. Thank you, Paige, for your time. And back to Megan in the studio.
Thank you, Paige and Diane. And thank you, all you farm fanatics, for tuning in to tonight's session on corn here on the Farm Network, Channel 6. Good night, everyone.